Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play that meets on Tuesday nights. Last week we had an incredibly eventful session as the party, when Raiken told them he needed to leave and think about things, went on to discuss in depth how they would handle breaking the very difficult news of not planning to fight and take down Elsementh, the blue dragon, to the Tritons, specifically Sturgis Clevergill, their leader, after they had shown such gusto for following the example of Shagrazir, whom they named the Lightning Slayer. They needed to very carefully address each of the steps in their process of coming to this decision, and describe them in a way that did not come across as weak to this very traditional military leader. In the meantime, Raiken was taking a walk along the beach, dealing with his feelings, his thoughts, his understandings of his situation, the situation between him and Tatsuya. And while he had a lot of very strong convictions, it wasn't leading him past this hump, whatever it was that this version of his brother in his mind was trying to get him to understand. But luckily, Kubriel was there with him, a staunch ally and strong supporter of this champion of Cord, and she offered a bit of her power to temporarily restore some of his memories of the Vault of Garland, such that he could come to a new conclusion, a perspective that he lacked, and one that he was able to derive for himself. And I find that to be the most meaningful part of it, that he was able to take in this new information and put together the situation in a new shape. And he was finally able to lay this memory of his brother, the man he grew up with, the boy that he competed with, to rest beneath a cairn of great skipping stones on the beach. Wonderful, beautiful scene, honestly. And then he returned to the World Over Inn. As he was coming to that epiphany, the party finished their discussion of how to present things to Clevergill and went to meet with the man, the Triton, the man. They had a very stilted discussion, utilizing a private sanctum, which Laramendus had a little bit of help setting up to get it done more quickly, and they luckily seemed to come to an understanding with this leader of the Tritons. He seemed to see the pragmatism of allying with Elsementh, such that there is only one child of Tiamat that can be a problem for the world, as opposed to 5, or Tiamat herself. And so, with that understanding come to, we join the party as dusk begins to settle over the island, and each group has accomplished their most immediate goals. So, Yukikaze, General, you have had your meeting with General Sturgis Clevergill. He seems to have accepted everything that you told him. much more completely, perhaps, than you expected.
What time is it?
Oh, let's call it like 7, 8 o'clock. Perfect time for dinner.
Yukikaze is exhausted, so he's gonna grab a small bite, take it up to his room, and pass out.
Okay. Lieutenant's General, your general is going to precede you back to the world over in. Are you going to follow, or have you more to try to say here to any of the Tritons?
I think everything we discussed is done with, so I will, if no one seems to be trying to grab my attention, I will proceed back, because Clevergill has the army under control, and I will state to the Lieutenant Generals, if you guys need me, because we can't send till tomorrow, so if you need me in the immediate few hours, I am going to lay down and possibly fall asleep.
Rest well.
I am mentally exhausted. And was stressed about telling him this, so I'm gonna go rest.
I think that Laramendis wants to... If he can see any of the wizards that assisted him, I think he would want to go to them.
Very good.
Otherwise, I think he would try and find just the people teaching magic, because I don't think he's actually had the chance to speak with them.
No, everything was... you guys were very deep in the mental conversation, helping Yuki with the...
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think Laramendis has spoken with the magic instructors of the Tritons yet, because he had been busy with other stuff, with the research and everything.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to be able to talk to them at some point.
Okay. How about Jebble? You had learned some sea alchemy.
Yeah, and I was helping Larmedis with the...
Right. That had been a reasonable chunk of recent time.
Yeah. The four of you, really. It's kind of how you ended up in this whole thing together anyway. You've just been together the last couple days. So, given that the research into coffers, at least I believe as far as you need to have done it, is done.
Yes.
You can return... Larmendis is going to seek out Magic-y Tritons to discuss things with them, learn and teach, it seems. You can do the same with the alchemy to continue to share skills there, or you can follow Yukikaze's lead and head back for a meal and a well-earned bed.
Is it that late for us?
I mean, you usually... Since we assume you get a perfect 8 hours of sleep and you rise at like 8 in the morning, you've got like 4 hours left.
You could come help the vendors.
I could do that.
Right. Plural.
I might do something different. I might check the medical training.
Yeah.
I had a hand in that.
Have you? A little when you were doing some of the alchemy, making potions and learning how to make these sea ingredients-based potions and salves. So a little bit, but you can always contribute more. Or learn more.
No, the medical side of it, I did have a part in that at the beginning.
Right.
Because...
Remember when we were at that one temple, Tristan, and we assisted with the bodies?
Yeah. Temple of the Raven Queen, when you were prepping the bodies for burial. Is that what you mean? I thought you meant the medical side of training here. Do you mean... Have you done medical stuff in general? Is that what you're asking me? I'm sorry.
Who are you asking that now? Me?
Yes, I am asking that.
Yeah,
too,
at the beginning, Jebble was involved in helping to train up medics.
Right.
That is something he did like at the beginning before he started doing like the potions or anything like that. One of the first things he did was help train medics
Okay.
so that they could train other medics.
Right.
That kind of thing. It's just what I want to just
Go back to that.
go back and just see how that's going.
Okay. All right.
So I assumed that the Tritons had the same thing, but just it doesn't hurt to for him to go back and go over it again.
Yeah. Probably also helps just so that you can help them understand the differences in anatomy between a Triton and a humanoid, and a different humanoid, I suppose I should say, since Tritons are also humanoids. Leah.
Yeah.
Is there anything here, out on the training field, among the soldiers, perhaps with the Black Rose, that you would like to accomplish before bed? Or would you like to follow your father's lead, get some dinner, and just get some rest?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some dinner
Okay.
and rest.
Alright, then we'll just see what there is to see with you two. Alright, Laramenda, start me off here. You want to check in with the Triton mages and gain an understanding of their level of competency, I assume.
I think he is more interested in providing the mages that had assisted with the ritual. He wants to pick their brains about what they did with the ritual, because I think that's a new experience for Laramendis. Or no, is it?
So, group casting is something that I have done a few times
Right.
throughout the story.
I did it with the teleportation stuff.
Yep. You
Yeah,
weren't there at the
okay.
very beginning, but like there was a teleportation accomplished by, what were you guys, second, third level, maybe, by group casting with some people who knew what to do but didn't have the magical training to do it themselves. So it's sort of a hand wavy thing for story stuff, or just to help make things interesting. But
Yeah.
the idea has been in my world that you can group cast to achieve things like casting a more powerful spell than you are capable of doing on your own, provided you understand the mechanism of it or have a book to explain the things that you haven't really been trained in. And in this case, it was you can group cast to cut down ritual time.
Yeah.
The idea just being there that they're helping to do things through the ritual that normally you would have to do sequentially, and it's saying you can do things in parallel to cut ritual time down. And this is,
Right.
For your sake, because of that specific use hasn't really been explored before. This is something that they can explain, that they are aware of, that they use this frequently when they want to make something happen quickly. They will gather as many mages as they can to cast the same ritual to cut down its time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can already see the immediate applications of.
The other thing that Laramendis was wanting to do, I think he's going to send Simularamendis for Simularamendis, or the previous Simularamendis's notes about all of the people that he was instructing, and go and see if there's any support that Laramendis can provide to those people. He basically, he trusts that their expertise when it comes to military magics and the uses of military magics is going to far exceed his own.
Yeah.
So he's not trying to gauge their level of competence. He's trying to figure out if there's anything that he can try and,
Fill
in a
gaps
shortish
on.
amount of time, fill some caps on.
Yeah, and that makes sense. As you say, they're very, very competent with like evocation magics and even a lot of abjuration magic, as protecting your soldiers is quite important. But you do have a large repertoire of utility spells that, while they are not incompetent with, they're not deb hands as you are either. So, yes, you do find gaps where you can fill, and unlike with the general, you find these Tritons are very accepting of your wish to help further the education. There is almost no pushback. Like upon first showing up, like mid instruction, perhaps moving over with the Tritons that you had been discussing the group ritual casting with, there would have been like this initial hesitation of, that's not you're not one of us, you're not a Triton kind of deal. But with a quick word from them, they'll say, "Oh, okay," and kind of let you dig right in.
And Laramendus is being very open about anything that he can answer magic-wise and provide in kind.
And which is good, because there are several moments where you'll get these inquisitive looks from the Tritons around as you do something, and either directly or through translation, someone will say, "Okay, wait, why did you do it that way? Because that's not how we do it." So that is a good use of your time, and everybody learns something new here. You gain a greater understanding of the capabilities of group ritual casting.
Nice.
Which you'll be able to apply. It's not the simplest of matters. There is sort of a synchrony aspect to it. You have to be trying to accomplish the same goal, and you have to be utilizing the same method. And so that either they knew your ritual method or they adapted to it very quickly, which allowed them to do that. But it does mean that any ritual that you cast, if you can teach other people how you do it and to do it with you at the same time, or to do the next part while you're doing part one, to let them do part two kind of deal, and they're doing it in the correct method, you can use this to cut down ritual times.
Nice.
I want the fusion dance mishaps silliness to happen.
I'll see if I can find a moment for things like that, but yeah, it's not unreasonable to say if a person misses their beat, that it can affect the outcome of the spell in small to large ways.
Makes sense.
But these people, again, were very competent. Were able to pick up your method and then pick up the next steps and perform them to cut down your ritual time. And so I know that you can see the applications in that, so I will not lay them out plain.
Yeah.
Jebble. You go to meet with the medics and continue to be shown more things from the depths of the ocean that are used in very similar ways to things from the depths of the forest that you use to make buffs and healing magic and potions happen. You also are training them in first aid and anatomy, and helping to make sure that the right things are being connected to the right other things when injuries occur. You are also, of course, learning Triton anatomy, which may be useful to you directly, or it may be useful to the people who are also there witness to this lesson, as you're all going to be fighting side by side, back to back, ere long.
Okay.
Is there anything specific that you'd like me to get into details-wise on that? Questions about, or what you can do with that?
Jebble's never been to, what's it called again? What's the northern...
Ebengard.
Evangard. He's never been to Evangard, so... I think one thing he's going to do is he's going to try and find people... He's going to see if he can find anyone who's from the area.
Yeah.
And just get a crash course in, like, plants. What plants grow. And if anyone's around from the area that they're actually going to, it'd be even more useful.
Sure. You find quite a few people who are from Ebengard. The common theme among them is that they made this choice to leave Ebengard to try and learn magic or fighting elsewhere, while other cities and other members of their own family were taking the fight to the dragons. So there is kind of this ostracized outsider kind of vibe to some of these people. Just as a heads up on that, there is a little there's a little guilt here that they're not in Ebengard fighting, but the ones that you speak to are able to convey in useful terms the types of plants that they deal with. At least one person there is aware of the healing properties or other medicinal properties of a lot of these Ebengardian plants, and at least one person among them is able to, take a diary that they have and sketch out plants such that they could be recognized by leaf shape and bark patterning and things like that. They're good enough sketches that you go, okay, I know this plant, or okay, I could definitely recognize this plant if I saw it. It's a different biome. It's a separated biosphere, as each of the nations of Amaranta kind of tends to be, as they're separated by wide rivers or huge mountain ranges. So it does have plants that differ from elsewhere on the continent, but it also has common plants as well. And they are able to give you a good crash course on the unique plants of Evangard, you feel, as well as some of the fauna there as well.
I figured that'll come in handy.
Yeah. I'll remind you that you're by the ocean now, and as long as that Kraken doesn't come back, if you feel like you're lacking on marine forms, Jebble, one simply must go to the ocean and ask.
Alright, give me just 1 second.
You've obviously laid eyes on the turtle and the dolphin and the crab and shrimps and the like, but maybe they've got a unique shark or squid or something that you could actually find just by asking, since you are a druid who seems to attract animals to him by his very presence.
Okay, so I'll just ask. I'll see what I can see, but getting some some forms.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So after you've handled some medicine lessons with the Tritons and soldiers there, you depart for the beach, the shore, or one of the rockier areas where it kind of cliffs off into a deeper ocean there. And you do notice, even as you are walking to the water's edge, you can see disturbances on the surface of the water, and several, and then under the sand as well. As you walk up, you can hear these small voices calling to one another and questioning, before the sand seems to mound up in front of you and then dribble off of this brown crab, whose eye stalks seem to swivel around before focusing in on you. And you hear this small voice go, "Oh, you're the reason we're feeling that way. Who are you, stranger?"
I am Jebble, druid.
Jebble,
Druid of Amaranta.
a druid. It has been a little while since a druid has strode this island.
How long?
Weeks or months, perhaps. Not the longest, perhaps, by a whale's reckoning, but I still had my pincers at the time. You can see that he's got one shredded forearm, and the other one is they don't necessarily grow back. They tend to get new ones when they shed up to their next shell, but you can sort of see that there's some soft tissue forming where the carapace is broken there. You can call me Captain, for that is what the others do. I was a warrior. What did you say?
Is it well, Captain?
And you are the druid Jebble, you said?
That's my name.
Well met. You have many of the fishes here all astir with your presence. It is all some of us can do to keep the youngers of the schools from beaching themselves to try and find you. Is there something this... Perhaps the word old salt is too on the nose, can do for you?
Perhaps. I'd like to see some marine life that I haven't seen before.
I am certain that I
Varieties
could
of
not
them.
tell you which you had not seen, but I can introduce you to those that I know. I am certain many would be thrilled to see this island's new druid. The last one, well, she was quite popular. We haven't seen her since the Great Storm.
I'm assuming that that's dragon.
You may assume as you please.
Yeah.
Unless you are saying that to him.
No,
Okay.
that's what I'm assuming.
Then yes, you may assume as you please. His eyes will stop focusing on you, and they'll kind of look around for a moment before they focus on you again, and just say, "I do hope that Melora's favor rests more strongly with you than it did with her."
She helped you?
Of course. As our stories would tell us any druid is sworn to do. Servants of the gods of nature, such as Melora, and protectors of creatures such as us from your fellows' tramping feet and fishing nets. There have been more nets since she left. Was taken. Fell. We know not her fate. Do you, druid Jebble?
I'm afraid not, no.
Terrible shame. Well, you can swim? I don't know how to interpret the noise I just heard.
I know Jebble can like turn into a couple of water forms. I don't know. I don't know how good Jebble is at swimming in his own form. Like, did he ever actually learn how to swim? He could turn into like a water elemental, and he can turn into fish. And they
Did he
can
just
swim.
not bother to learn to swim because he could do that?
No, I just don't know if he ever learned how to swim.
What do you think? Do you think he would? Do you think that the place where he grew up is an isthmus, which means it has water on either side, the ocean on one side, perhaps, and a bay on the other, or a confined lake. They would have had a lot to do with the water as a source of food, as a source of a lot of things, a place to do laundry and the like. But that does not mean that Jebble learned to swim, or that his family in particular put any stock in it. So, what do you think? Perhaps on a clear day in Crystal Rock, you might be able to see a small dark speck on the horizon that is Stormreef Isle.
Okay. Yeah, he might have learned how to swim, but like it wasn't something that he really. It wasn't his passion.
Okay.
He liked the hills.
He liked the hills, and then he took on aquatic forms and never really needed to swim with his own hands and feet.
I'd say he can swim, but yeah, it's just not like he's a functional swimmer. He's not a graceful swimmer.
Okay, very good. So, how do you respond to Captain?
What did he say?
Can you swim?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to be taking you into the water. I hope you can also breathe there.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem.
Good. Then, follow old Captain, and I shall introduce you to those I can call the attention of. Oh, you kind of see his eyes stalks swiveling about again, black and impossible to tell exactly where he's looking, but you get a sense when he's looking at you and when he's not. He says, the pull of your druidic personality is quite strong. I'm sure they will likely find us before I can find them.
I might have to do something about that.
Why is that?
You said yourself, you seem concerned that the possibility that some of your associates might beach themselves.
I don't think they'll beach themselves trying to get to you if you're in the ocean.
Yeah, well, I'm not in the ocean. It wouldn't do any harm to be able to
Control when you're
Control.
calling us.
yes.
I'm certain that if you meditate on it some, you will figure it out. Rain, she used to meditate all the time. She loved to meditate over there, and the kind of chunked off front pincer arm. It just has one segment left of it. He raises it and indicates a stone point out to the east, north. Along the coastline.
Alright. You never remember which direction anything is.
That's all right. I'm sure many a druid before you has had difficulty with directions. I can always take you there if you wish to see it yourself.
I might check it out later. Never hurt to try.
Yes, of course.
So we're heading into the ocean.
He heads into the ocean ahead of you, just sort of walking into the surf, and then continuing down, just walking along the bottom, not even kicking up to swim at all at this point, just getting deep.
Before he heads into the water, I am going to just don't mind this. This is how I'm breathing underwater, and I will take water elemental form.
You take water elemental form, and he, kind of goes, oh, Rain never used that form in my presence. As you go into the water, you see his eye stalks, swiveling around again. He goes, where have you gone, druid?
Is he asking that about the form, or...?
He mentioned that Rain never used water elemental form in front of him, indicating that maybe she couldn't.
No, I gather.
When you went into the water, the water elemental becomes invisible when it's in water.
Yeah. But no, before, I would say, the different types of druids have different specializations. Some are more... They're more spellcasters. Some are more tied to specific aspects of nature. Some, like myself, focus more on our ability to shapeshift.
It must serve you well to be able to walk among your people as one of them, then. I'm sure Rain would have envied that. She could, of course, take some forms.
Oh, yeah. That's a gift we all share, but that's my specialization. That's my focus.
I see. She protected the waters around this island and the animals that lived upon the island itself as well. She, as I said, was well loved here, so the people will be glad that you are stepping in to fill that hole.
I'm only here temporarily, I'm afraid.
Most unfortunate news. Though perhaps if you know others, then you can carry our plight to them, and one will come to replace Rain.
I will do what I can.
Very good. It is... well, we have not been without a druid as long as I have lived in these waters, and it has been a great struggle since Rain's departure. The few humanoids that were left on the island after the great storm, they seem to have forgotten their delicate relationship with the sea, taking from it as voraciously as any predator I have seen in these waters. I almost feel like there are more humanoids on the island than before the storm, but that couldn't possibly be.
No, I think a few more gathered here, but we're taking them away.
Oh. Then that should be well for the waters, I think. They are disrespectful. I'm sure you've noticed.
Have I noticed? Have I been paying attention to...
You may not have been. But, as a druid, trained by Gliss, knowing that your job is to protect nature, it would have been probably... You might not have noticed it immediately because of your recent time in cities, where the needs of humanoids always outweighs the needs of the local flora and fauna, and there's little enough of it that you don't hear complaints. The rats never seem to complain. So your perspective on things might be skewed by your adventure, is what I'm trying to say. But it is plain that the soldiers eat meat of some kind almost every night here, and that the inn world over is very well supplied, despite seeming to have a very minimal staff. They're getting these things from somewhere, and Captain has said that the fishing nets have increased in number since Rain left.
Yeah,
It is very likely that the soldiers themselves are net fishing.
yeah. Well, I'm going to plan to have words with Laura Mendes and all that about this once I get back.
Very good, Master Druid. We, of course, appreciate any and all that you contribute to this bit of ocean. Now then, I think that I can hear one of my friends, the great jellyfish, approaching. And you're going to get a walking tour of the ocean local to the edges of the island, the reef around it, the cliffs and the depths, the shallows and the beaches, and you will make acquaintances with several large and small sea creatures. You notice that in your presence, creatures that are normally predatory upon one another are at the least distracted by curiosity about you, so no one tries to eat Captain while he's leading you around, despite his lack of any meaningful way to defend himself.
Okay.
Many of these creatures will mention Rain in different capacities. There are, brief glimpses of their relationship with her, how she would swim the oceans and patrol and tell off fishermen if they were overfishing, try to explain a balance in nature, much like the sharks hunts the schools of fish, so too do humanoids, and so the fish are taught ways to better protect themselves, which has made, in general, fishing was more, I don't want to say equitable, but fewer fish were caught, but enough that the society here was still sustained. They seem to have an interesting relationship with Melora, the goddess of the seas, and of course, Arathis, the goddess of civilization. It's similar in some ways. What you remember of Dichoselthus, only there aren't so much two factions fighting each other over how to construct the city as it was this budding humanoid civilization on this island and the tidal wave of destruction that they could wreak upon the ocean around it, were that not being held back by the singular effort of the druid or druids that were here before, but namely this rain person. So, you get to learn a little bit about this and be brought back into that mentality that Gliss had always tried to instill in you during your lessons with them, about striking this balance with nature, but making sure that, the humanoids aren't taking more than they need. Something that was easily forgotten when you're spending all of your time in the most gluttonous places on Amaranta, the major mercantile cities, places like Tuca and Espara and Bromdor. Everwatch and Volinar specifically, I mean to say.
How big is this island? I mean,
it was large enough to hold a small city, nowhere near the size of a Tuca or Everwatch, but you imagine that there were several thousand people who lived here, maybe as many as 4. It's not the tiniest island, it's just not huge. A city like Tuca had perhaps hundreds of thousands of people in it. Volinar is a smaller city, being first and foremost a military installation, and then the city that sprouted up around it in times of peace. Even that place has dozens of thousands of people, if not more.
No, I was just wondering, no, it's just because the Tailspire map is obviously not to scale.
No, I tried to do a scale representation and then eventually gave up and just said, here's the beach you land on and the building closest to it. It's hard doing big things in Tailspire. It's easier now that Derek has shown me the topography generator, so I could generate large areas of interesting topography, but building cities is still a large undertaking.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a month or multi-month project, depending on the size.
Yeah. And
So, in, miles, or how, what would the area be?
Oh, God, I haven't really had to think about how big places are, but, let me just throw an estimate down. What's reasonable? The whole place is probably a few miles long and a few miles high, so, let's call it 25 square miles.
And how much of that was taken up by the city?
Good portion of it. The beaches were mostly left alone, except for this area had the big wharf on it.
Yeah.
But, and there were foresty areas on it. The whole place is in the tropical band, it's at that latitude, so it has a tropical climate, and so there were, kind of forever wildy areas of trees and undergrowth and stuff like that left natural, but it had a large portion of the central area very, very developed, and so, that's what it was hard to impress, but I tried to theater of the mind it and let people know that, there are a few buildings here and there standing namely the World Over Inn. There are a few others as well, maybe, a dozen or so. But this place was very clearly covered in buildings and roads that have all been flattened, demolished, and washed out to sea.
Scorched.
Scorched in a lot of cases, yeah.
Oh, okay, so there's a lot more rubble around than appears.
Yeah, I didn't build any of the rubble. I just built the world over. But, like, this framework that represented the Mages Guild, like, that's underground and it's all that's left, Above ground it was the ruin that you had to crawl through as a small creature.
Okay, no, I have a difficult time picturing things, so...
Sorry about that.
Help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
if it were
just...
easier to build out and show, like, ruin, okay building, half damage building, ruin, just done straight, I would have done it, but it was so much.
It'd be an undertaking.
Yeah.
No, I get that now. No, my... So I'm... This place must have been by massive deliveries of food. If they don't have, if the island is mostly urban, they wouldn't have had much in the way of farmland.
Right. They probably had some. You built up your Mirage Arcane mountainous area in a place where there weren't a lot of buildings. Those could have been fallow fields. But it seems like they largely depended on either imports or the ocean for their supply.
Yeah. Like, whatever land they had wouldn't have been enough to support a city that size.
Yeah, no. So you kind of, through that, gain a better understanding of the very careful balance that Rain had been maintaining to keep the city alive and not allow it to decimate the seascape around it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have words with Larvendus.
What did he do?
He is in trouble.
Is this just the typical throwing him under the bus, or is this something else?
Oh, okay. Cyrus too.
But yeah.
They're clearly the
So
problem.
he's not lonely.
So you gain, giant jellyfish, giant squid, giant shark forms as you're introduced to some very interesting characters that drift through the ocean, but stick toward the reefs and depths around Stormreef Isle.
Do you think a druid would be able to turn into a man of war?
Yeah. Were there a man of
They're
war?
like...
Be able to turn into a man of war? You gonna turn into a man of war and then convince something to eat you?
No, the Portuguese man of war is like 5 different creatures.
Oh.
It's a weird colony of different animals.
I forgot that they were a colony. I thought it was just the balloon.
Such a strange... God, nature be crazy.
Nature do be crazy. I mean, so superorganisms, that's a maybe. I'd leave the logistics of how you play a superorganism like that to you.
Like, turn into a man of war and then turn back into like 5 Jebbles.
And they go, wait, hold on.
No, this isn't right.
Just each one of your limbs.
You're only allowed to turn into what would you call it? What you call those things? Superorganisms?
Yeah, a superorganism.
You only turn into those when Brendan's around. Just gotta add a little bit of extra sausage to the mix.
You just gotta
Or
get a
like-
bunch
like-
of druids together and
Yeah.
then Voltron it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. We get
Jebble can be the left arm of the Forbidden
Confused,
One.
We all turn into the tentacles.
Or mini druids combined to make one giant druid.
Good God.
Oh, like was it the gnomes in Gravity Falls?
Oh, yeah. The gnomes. The super gnome. I mean, I guess if you want to, you guys can figure out the logistics of how to play a party of 7 druids and all Voltron up into a super druid in the next campaign, I guess. I can't stop you from doing that. I mean, I can, but I probably wouldn't.
So, and we also, of course, have to all be, like, there has to be 5 of us as lions at some point. Yeah. Them's the rules.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Oh, because Voltron was lions.
So, you gain, 4 or 5 new forms of marine, deep sea, and island-ish marine creatures that you did not have previously.
Yeah, I have questions to ask when I get back, so...
Alright. So...
Oh yeah, that's it. Run away.
I'm going to flip to dinner. I'm gonna catch up with the Lumases. Well, that was too low. I got rid of all the light fixtures. Alright. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. No, I think it works. So, Yuki, you head back to the World Over Inn and order yourself a small meal which you feel you can take away with you. And they bring it to you. There he is.
He just left.
Ah, damn it. Okay, well, in any event. Leah, you wanted a meal. And you... again, so Yuki is going to ask for stuff and on a tray, basically, and walk away with it. Do you intend to sit and eat?
Yeah.
Okay. At this time, is when you see, Raiken comes back in, followed by, Kubriel, and he saunters up to the bar, and asks for a drink up there and has a laugh with Ruby, while you're sat at one of the tables. He didn't seem to notice you as he came in, and he seems to laugh at a joke one of them made, as he waits for his drink to come. But you can see him from where you are, and you can hear him from where you are. And you haven't seen him since he said he was going to go and think about something.
Yeah, I guess I'll go sit up next time.
Oh, alrighty. You, pull up to the bar there, and pull out the stool next to him. He's kind of swishing the drink in one hand and sharing a story with Ruby, and you can see Ruby, her eyes track away from Raiken's over to yours, and she smiles and bobs a quick nod as she continues listening, without indicating that you're there. Amidst his story, he's not seemed to notice you quite yet. But Raiken.
Yeah.
As you come to the punchline of your story, slamming the drink down, saying, and by that time, we didn't even notice he was gone, getting the laugh. You're going to, wipe some askew beverage from your lip, and you're going to catch sight of the purple in the chair next to yours.
Oh, Leah, when did you get here?
Just now?
Ah, you coming to enjoy a nice dinner with your papa.
And wanted to check about how you've been doing.
Oh, I feel better than ever.
That's good.
Yes, Kubriel helped me get through something, but it feels like my weight has been lifted.
My ally put to rest a great burden, and became the greater champion for it.
Ultimate champion of Korn.
Well, I'm not sure yet if I would go as far as to say that, but he is a more impressive champion than I have served alongside in a great while.
Don't worry. I'll show you on the battle.
Ruby's going to kind of roll her eyes and look to you, Leah, and say, "Alright, enough with the war stories for a minute. What do you have, darling? Salad?"
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll be right back with it. Do you want anything to drink? Water?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
And she'll disappear for a few minutes. Or coming back, laying out the food, and then seeming to use this distraction as a way to not be drawing your father's attention anymore, seeing to other things around the place. She definitely seems to be busying herself preparing for something.
So, how did the talks with Cleverkill go?
It seemed to have gone fine.
So at least it seems he understood the situation.
It appears so, yeah. Think it's fine for now.
That's good. Well, no matter whatever ends up happening, we'll find a way to tackle it head on.
The beach was nice.
Yes. Beach was nice. We were just there. Very quiet, other than the waves. Really helped with thinking things out.
There's a lot to think about.
Yes, there is. What are you thinking about right now, Leah?
Just I don't know if not we will survive all this.
We will survive. We've been through so much.
Yeah,
Some
but
meas-
nothing's like this. This is gonna be the big bad.
Some measly dragons aren't going to take us down. I will protect you, Leah.
I know we will.
Chin up. We still have some time before it all goes down. We can't be thinking bad thoughts during this time.
I think I know what has your daughter down, my ally.
What could it be, Kubriel?
She misses petting my ears. I no longer have my fuzzy, warm tiger form, and she misses it. And I appreciate you for missing it, Leah.
Yes, that must be it.
Sure.
Kubriel, do you miss it?
Do I miss being a tiger?
And getting nice pets from Leah?
I mean, I certainly miss the days of being pampered and not having to risk my own form.
Are
But
you worried?
worried? No. My home is still the Astral Sea. Should the worst happen, that is where I will be. Sent to, for I will fall fighting, as is my way.
Yes, the warrior's way.
Cord's warrior's way. Gloriously in battle, and no other way.
Fighting side by side. For Cord.
For Cord.
Oh god.
Raiken. Well, Raiken will also, at that moment, turn to Leah and also say, for Zentharamil.
She'll smile back and nod for Sintaramel.
Yours has been an interesting path in your devotion, my ally. But so long as you still devote yourself to Cord, I shall not question it.
Oh, don't worry. My devotion is still to Cord. But does not mean I cannot help Leah and Zentharamel in the same effort.
Young warrior Leah, it seems that you are troubled by thoughts of falling gloriously in battle. And I am here to tell you, she says as she takes a seat next to yours, that I sympathize. I do not empathize, though, because I do not feel those things. But I do understand that many warriors fear such a fate. Would you like to hug me? I am told that I give Cord's greatest hugs.
She'll laugh.
Listen, what do you mean? I probably give Cord's greatest hugs.
You don't have enough arms to give Cord's greatest hugs, she says, spreading her arms wide and offering a hug, and then 2 more sets of arms growing out from under her original pair.
Cheater!
Hardly. Angel.
That's impressive. How many can you sprout?
At this size, my limit is probably 1 more set, but I could grow larger and make room for more. Though usually I devote such room to wings, I need a great many of them to fly into battle mightily.
How many?
I only need 2 wings.
Can you make more wings should you want them, my ally?
What? I could do that?
No, I'm asking if you can.
No, I can only...
So is it that
2.
you only need 2 wings, or that you have convinced yourself that you need only 2 wings, for more are forbidden to you? This is a competition, Raiken, she says, growing 2 sets of wings.
I can't sprout more than 2 wings.
Well, where I come from, we do not gawk or jape at the disabled.
What? I'm not disabled.
You can only sprout 2 wings. Where I come from, it is the same.
I can only sprout 2 wings because that's all I need. I don't need more wings.
However, you need to
That's
justify
why it doesn't let me sprout more.
My ally, you're a mighty warrior, and the pitiful number of wings you can sprout is no mark against that.
Oh my god. After dinner, we're having a flying race.
And who will you be racing against?
You.
Though that wouldn't be fair.
Why? Why not?
Leah,
Hmm?
would it be fair for your father to enter into a drawing contest against a person with no hands?
Mm, no, I guess not.
It wouldn't be fair, Raiken.
I was this close. I was really thinking that Lee was gonna be like, it wouldn't be fair to write this.
Tempting.
Although,
Draw with their
perhaps,
feet better than he can with his hands.
that is fair. You're correct. Somebody can draw with something other than hands. But it is difficult to fly with something other than wings. In any event.
I don't know. I flew by high 5. That was pretty effective.
I said difficult, not impossible. Would you like that hug, Lilia? Would that help to ease the troubles on your mind at all?
Man, it would be very entertaining to see you two fly against each other.
See?
You are encouraging this.
I say go for it. It's always fun to see Raiken embarrassed.
Who said that?
I can't hear her. Never mind.
She can't hear you.
It's Vindar. He's the ever-present shade. You never know he's around.
Yeah, he's probably around here somewhere.
I can hear you from my place in the other dimension.
We are being spied on.
Well, it's not Vendar. It's not spying when it's Vendar. He just can see everything.
Can't help it.
Hear
I
everything.
hear everything.
I don't think the person perpetrating the espionage influences whether or not it is espionage, my ally.
What, are you going to go try to beat him up?
Am I invited to?
No, he's
You
part
told
of
me
our-
I could fight anyone you designated. Designate him.
Uh,
I shall fight him.
I am not designating him. I'm not sure if you'd be able to find him.
It's good. Protect him.
Exactly. Yes. I don't want you to hurt him before the big fight.
He doesn't need both his arms to throw his poisony things, does he?
He kind of
I
does.
very much do. I shoot bow.
He can't sprout more arms like me. She says, growing just one out of a full set of arms.
If I can't sprout extra arms, do you really think he could sprout out?
She now has
Sprout
an
out extra
uneven
arms.
number of arms on one side.
We're both Dragonborn, for Christ's sake. I was a Dragonborn before he was.
Whose sake? That's a weird way to pronounce gourd.
For God's sake. Shut up. Shut up, DM.
Hey, that was Gabriel. Alright. Well, should you wish me to fight him, you need only designate him. And if you wish to fly against me with your disability, then I will agree to this challenge.
All right. Let's finish eating and then fly.
So that's a no on the hug then, young Leah.
No, we can hug. That's fine.
Okay. She's going to, pull you into a tight embrace against her plate armor. It is probably the single worst hug you've ever had because it's way too many arms and she's squeezing you way too tightly against metal. But she seems incredibly proud of herself as she sets you back down. Only slightly worse for wear. No permanent injuries, but definitely you feel like a little bruising from where she squeezed you. And she goes, "There. How do you feel about future prospects now, young one?"
I think we can take it.
Excellent. Kubriel's most perfect hugs win over the hearts of men and women alike.
Raiken just looks at her.
Yeah,
Raiken. It's like you almost killed her.
As you said, the hugs win again. Leah will give Raiken a stare, and if Kubriel isn't looking directly at her, to do a very slight shake of her head.
I have infused her with the power of my devotion to our god. She will know his courage in battle now. You are a strong warrior, Leah. You have little to worry about from these dragons, I think.
Of course she's a strong warrior. She's a Lumos.
We've done a lot of preparations. I think it might soon be time. I'm getting restless of staying here, and the longer we waste, the more people are gonna die.
Yes. We must act, my ally. Your daughter speaks true. Point my sword, and I shall cut there.
Gosh, I've been feeling that as well. I want to get out of here and fight.
Let's do it! What are we waiting for, my allies?
We're waiting for the rest of our allies. They're
If
so
it's just
slow.
the two of you, I can probably fly us where we need to be. They can catch up.
Especially...
We can't do this alone.
Why? You wouldn't be alone. You would have me. Sword of Cord. Oh, that rhymes.
Against four ancient dragons and a horde of dragonlings? No.
You're right. We should wait until they gather more dragons so it is a fair fight.
Exactly.
I don't know who affected who in this relationship.
This is just
I don't know who patient zero is, but I know the infection is spreading.
This is just how Cordians are.
So Cord is patient zero.
Maybe tomorrow there will be new progress. I hope so. Everybody else is taking forever, especially that Laramendus.
Well, we could always talk to them, Raiken. Encourage them toward action. It is Cord's way.
Well, I think tomorrow we'll finally message that other general, the Four Queens, and maybe then things can start popping off.
Heads?
I mean, maybe not yet, but, other things.
Arms. And legs. They tend to make a popping noise when they are removed.
Yeah. I also want to meet that other general that wanted us to come right away. Challenged us.
Oh. Why have we not met their challenge?
Because they all want to message this other general before we go.
Are we certain that is necessary, my ally?
They think it's necessary.
Look, if we fly there, it will take us more time to reach. Perhaps we get a head start, we burn off some of this extra energy, we get there at the same time as your friends.
And if we fly there, we can dispense so much more justice along the way.
I've been telling people that for years, and they've never listened to me.
I learned about it so long ago, like a couple months.
You know, through our relationship, I have had some doubts about you from time to time, Raiken. But now I feel I truly see who you are meant to be, and how you have become that person. And I wonder if perhaps we are not the perfect allies in this endeavor.
The ultimate allies!
Super friends.
Super best friend.
Yes! Drinks for the
Now.
super best friends.
Yes, and one
Leah.
non-alcoholic drink to Leah.
No! Unless she wants it.
I said non-alcoholic. I'm not saying to give her an alcoholic drink.
I'm good with water.
Very well.
Another water for Leah.
First water for Leah. Actually, I think Ruby would set it down. Say, first water for Leah. Don't let them get too rowdy now, okay, your love?
Easier said than done.
Oh.
Do your best.
Raiken sleeps rowdy.
She had been heading back to the kitchen when you say that, and she stops in the door, having pushed it partially open. She makes long eye contact with you after you say he sleeps rowdy, and she says, completely deadpan, face a mask, an emotionless mask. She says, I believe that.
This is hardly rowdy.
You just hear
This is nothing like the baking competition with my brother.
You just hear this whisper near your ear there, Raiken. You can sleep rowdy with me.
Huh?
You look around, there's nothing there.
Who
There's
said
no one
that?
there. No response.
Must have been my imagination.
Must have been the wind.
Was your salad good, Leah?
I haven't finished it yet.
There's been so much shouting around her, she's been distracted from eating it.
The hug
that is good.
just took all the energy out. She can barely pick up the fork.
I don't know. I love the idea that Kubriel is convinced that she gives the world's best hugs because no one is willing to tell her otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you do, she might want to, improve that skill by giving you another.
Oh
The
god.
risk is too great.
Yeah, might be right.
Look, it's either the best hug or your last hug. You get to pick, but
Alright.
You have your meal. Your dad and his angel super best friend are rowdy, but nobody becomes sloshed. And
Yeah, you can't get drunk and fly.
Don't drink and fly. Okay.
So you finish, and then now that everyone's done eating, Raiken, what are you saying?
Time to fly.
Yes, I am ready to cross whatever span separates us from our quarry.
Yeah, put your wings where your mouth is.
Oh no. I naturally imagine that that's physically going to happen.
Wings grow from her mouth.
Ew.
Wings
Oh my
grow
God.
from her back.
Nightmare fuel.
The things
Wings
of
grow
nightmares.
from her legs, from her hands.
I almost want them to like wake up in a tree in a random location just outside of town.
She
Alright.
grows to large size and seems to become just a mass of wings. And from between the feathers, you can see one somewhat reptilian eye swivel in its socket to look at you and say, I did warn you, my ally, that this would not be a fair challenge to you.
That's wing overload. How can you even function with that many wings?
I am an angel of cord. I only know how to function with this many wings. That's not true. I can also function with fewer.
Raiken will use his ability and also sprout his wings, but he only gets 2 wings. Alright.
You ascend into the air. Do you designate a point to reach before the other?
To the beach spots and back.
And back.
Yes.
Are you going to be there for this, Leah, or are you headed upstairs once they go out?
Oh no, I want to see that.
Alright then. Guriel will say, fine then, my ally. On Leah's mark.
Oh, I wish I had one of the pistols.
Eldritch Blast!
That's what minor illusion is for.
And
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast!
And I guess I will conquer a flag.
Okay. You conjure a
With
flag.
prestidigitation, you know, there's a small object.
You've got a little pennant in your hand.
Okay. On the marks. Get set. Go!
What's the farthest you can move in a single round, Raiken?
60 feet.
60 feet.
Well, yeah. So,
Oh,
sorry. Well, I
yeah.
guess so if I double move, it'll be 120.
Ah.
Only 60 with wings? You have 30 flying speed?
No,
Well,
with
65
with double, yeah, 65 speed. So double will be 120.
Okay.
But with all her wings, she can probably go like 500, so 1,000.
I'm gonna guess
double move.
120. He's gonna blow you out of the water.
There is you are nearly like knocked on your butt, Leah, by the wave of air pressure that comes as all of her wings begin beating, and she just tears off over the landscape. So yeah, she's gonna get there, and she's gonna be heading back before you're even there.
Damn
Dimension
it.
door. Dimension door. Dimension door.
Raiken does not cheat.
You just said you had to get you there and back.
Using your resources is not cheap.
I mean, clearly you're meant to use them. The court gave you these powers. It's to win a competition.
Do you teleport?
No, Raiken does not teleport.
Very well. Leah, Kubriel is going to fly back, and as she arrives, she lets all of her wings beat once more, washing a wave of cool air over you before assuming her normal form once again and dropping heavily to the ground. Raiken comes limping in several seconds later. You are, you really pushed yourself to do this. It was very exerting. Ah, my ally, you have arrived!
Yes.
Well flown.
It was close. You barely beat me.
It's true. Had I even a single fewer wing, you would have won. Truly a champion of Cord in every regard.
Leah rolls her eyes.
Kuriel is going to, like, give you a sly look out the corner of her eye and wink.
Alright. I think I need to sleep.
You can sleep on the wing, then. We're off to find our quarry.
What? What for? We're not going yet.
Why not? You said that we should leave. But you were tired of waiting.
I said we should fly. We're not leaving until everybody else is ready. As much as it sucks.
It does suck quite a lot, Raiken.
I know.
Are you certain that we must wait for them?
Yes, we must wait.
It seems to
Hopefully
me that 2 champions of Cord and his daughter should be more than enough for these puny human generals.
Human generals?
They're probably humanoids.
We're not wanting to attack the Four Queens' army.
But if we are forced to do so...
If we're forced to do so, then we want everybody there so they can see how awesome we are.
But how much more awesome would we appear? Imagine they arrive, and we've already laid out the army before them as an offering to Cord.
Well, I don't think they would be happy.
Good thing it was an offering to Cord and not to them, then.
Yes, I'm sure Cord would enjoy it.
There's nothing I can say to convince you that we must go now, my ally.
No.
Very well. Then...
Let's do some sparring tomorrow. And hopefully we'll hear some good news.
Agreed. We shall do that. And with that, the race is over, and Guriel's attempts to convince Raiken leave end. Now then, Laramendis and Jebble, you may return to the World Over Inn. Are you going to head straight to the mansion for eating? I mean, at this point, the soldiers are going to be starting to pile into this place to get food. The officers being pushed like the soldiers they usually command by the Tritons. And the place is
I
starting
think-
to fill up.
I think that Laramendus would ask for a drink, but he would probably go back up to the room and then eat in the mansion.
Okay. You're able to get a drink easily enough without perturbing anyone. And Jebble,
I want to approach the bar.
you want to go to the bar. Where is the real? There he is. I have taken control of your token. Alright, you get your drink, you head up. You find that many others are already up here doing their thing. For a moment, there's nobody there, as you would at the bar there, Jebble, but then... And she's going to come over, clearly a little winded from serving lots of different tables as these officers come in. She says, Lieutenant General, what can I get for you, darling?
When we eat in the mansion, that's food is generated in the mansion, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Drinks are generated in the mansion.
Yes.
Okay. So. I'll answer. I have just a question.
Alright then.
How long have you been here?
Oh,
On the island?
I suppose that's not a terribly unusual question. I would say that I retired to this island, 10 or 15 years ago.
You know someone named Rain?
Yes, of course I knew Rain. She was a wonderful person, she was.
Okay, very recent. Died in
And-
when the dragon attacked?
Or shortly thereafter. The dragon attacking was only the beginning. And Rain was an elf. But she was... Well, she was still a person. The dragons came... The dragon, really. The dragon came and unleashed a storm like this island hadn't seen in generations. Lightning upon lightning upon lightning, and it was as though the wings summoned the storm, or perhaps it was just the amount of lightning he conjured, but I know that the sky turned black shortly thereafter as I watched the buildings flash and burn around here. And then the rain started to fall, and at first I thought to myself, well, at least the fires will be put out. But I should have remembered that the clouds come because the air changes. And when the air changes, it can affect the water too. And soon the water started coming up on the shore and to bury the buildings. And normally the folk at the Mages Guild, they have these... they have magics of their own to help quell the seas when the waves come. Barriers to stop them and the like. Walls of force like I've never seen. But they had all fallen to the dragon, trying to stop it attacking the rest of the town. And the building had been destroyed, so there was no one to wield this magic. So I don't know if she fell to the dragon, or to the lightning, or if somehow the sea claimed her. But she's been gone since the storm.
She fulfilled a role here that is empty in her absence, so I have to look into that.
Well, a lot of the island was wiped out, and her job mainly was telling drunk fishermen to stop pulling so many fish from the sea. So I figured it wasn't too bad that we were without our emissary of nature, I think is the title she would have wanted me to use. But, I don't keep tabs on the soldiers, and I couldn't really tell them what to do even if I wanted to. Are they... Is the sea... Melora, is she angry with what's going on here?
No, I haven't been talking to her. I have been talking to a crab, and he's not terribly pleased.
Captain?
Oh, you met him.
No. No, I've never met Captain. Leastways, I don't think I have. But Rain talked about him a lot. Whenever she'd get into the cups, she would say how, anyone could see how hard she worked around here, trying to keep things in order, as it were. But she always would tell me, at least, when she had a hard day and needed to lose herself a bit, she would start to complain about... I thought he was a mentor at first, leading her in the ways of druid, telling her where the imbalances were. And then, and she always had some gripe about him, and I thought it was kind of cute. Mentor, student, teacher, that kind of relationship. That's always very interesting to me. I never took it up. I did my adventuring, and I retired, and now I fetch swill for whoever will pay for it. But she always talked about, Captain. I thought it was her captain. Telling her what needed to be done around the island, and who was in trouble, and which sailors were taking too many fish and the like. And one day she just says, and I have to take all this shit. That's the way she talked. From a crab. I says to her, your captain is a crab, like the one I served to Gestalt the other day. She just nodded and said that he wasn't her captain, that's just the name he took on. So no, I've never met Captain myself, but from Rain, I heard he's a character.
I only met him briefly, but...
Left an impression on you.
Interesting.
What's that, love?
Character.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you've got other stories about Captain, I'd love to hear them.
I don't know. He just showed me around a bit, really.
It's pretty funny to picture, being led around the ocean by a little crab, and you're this big, powerful general of your own army.
Fish out of water, so to speak.
I understand. Well, if you need to take up Rain's duties, you're always welcome for a drink here. And if there's something that needs to be corrected, I don't know how much help I can be directly, but I can at least, I'll have your back.
I'll see what I can do. I have people I can talk to.
Alright then. I'm sure that the island would be happy to have a druid on staff again. I don't know how...
I need it from what I see of this place. Especially if it gets rebuilt.
Indeed. We did do a lot of sea farming with Rain's help, and I think that actually, I don't think anyone's left who knew how. We still do. I still cast the net out. I'll have the boys do it every night, just like Rain taught us. Told us it was better at night. We got enough fish to last. She said it was alright. None of them was directly friends of hers. I always thought that had to be an odd relationship. You know, meat and the food. I don't know that I could do that.
Yeah.
You don't eat meat, do you?
No. When you can.
No, I understand, love. I understand. Neither did Rain. But she never stopped us, so I don't know if I should be grateful or even more worried. I don't know what it cost her. If it did. Anyway.
I don't make other people's decisions for them.
She probably felt similar if I had to guess. Though I learned the most about her when she was drunk and she didn't get all philosophical at those times. Mostly told stories.
Well, I'd best get off. I have to talk to an elf.
No trouble, love. If you need anything, or if any of your friends do, I'm right down here, or one of the boys will be. We've been getting regular shipments ever since Tatsir came and set things up, so we're not
Good.
wanting for food, even with feeding so many.
What time is it now in the game? Like, it's.
Oh, call it 9, 10.
Alright. Well, then I'll. Jebble will swing off to. Good evening, so.
Good evening. Sleep well, Lieutenant General.
Thanks for telling me about Rain.
Of course.
And then I'll head upstairs.
If anything else comes to mind, I'll let you know.
Thank you. And I'm looking for Laramen's.
More like Lara Menace.
Got a problem. Lara meant this.
And you said you were in the mansion.
Yes, I think he would have gone to eat at the mansion just to not take up the space in the
Okay.
at the tavern.
Alright. So, you get up there. Yuki, you can see that there is a tray of eaten food on the foot locker at the end of the bed, and he is quite restive there when you come back, Lair. And I believe Leah, Raiken, and Kubriel, there she is, are hanging out here as well, getting ready for bed. So you're gonna head into the mansion. Do you have anything to say to them before you go, or just go?
I don't think that Laramentis is anything he was planning on saying to them.
Okay. So yeah, you head into the mansion. As is becoming, unfortunately, more and more customary, the mansion has a particular aroma to it that seems to suffuse all of its rooms and surfaces. Stronger, of course, if you head toward the library, but
the workshop area, because remember things were different.
That's
so
right.
I think Laramentis is going to be like, what did he do for ventilation? There has to be a secret.
It is better controlled than previously, but
yeah, no, but still notice, which is what Laramentis is like racking his brain trying to figure it, because I don't think he saw anything that he could have pointed to as like ventilation,
Nope.
but I'm sure that there was. And so he's like, something needs to. There has to be a better way.
The Vicandrius in your head just goes, it's an ingenious little setup that I worked out myself. You'd be quite proud of the innovation, Professor.
I just like the idea that you ask Vendor about ventilation, he's just like, ventilation? That would have been a good idea. That
Like,
explains,
what do you
the
mean?
hallucinations.
Grab a Vendar token to set it over here, just representing everybody who's in the mansion by having them stand in the doorway to the mansion.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Vendor just hotboxing himself.
Tab and seal the names.
You're by the ocean, it's a clam bake. So I believe you're leaving Simula Amendus, or are you taking him with you? Because there's still a Simula Amendus and a Simu Vendar.
I think that Laramendus would keep Singular Amendus with him.
Okay. So yeah.
Unless somebody else has explicitly asked for his services.
Okay. Yeah, so, Jebble, you come back to the room, and you see that there are 4 people in here, 3 of whom in bed, either reading, writing, or sleeping. But you know that Laramendus had been out with the army when you went to the ocean, and now the army's coming in, so he'd at least have come in with them. So you can probably
I walk in and I point towards the door of the mansion. I'm like, just like, Laramendus?
Just asking one of the people in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at them and I'm just pointing at the door, just going, Laramendus? That's a question.
Then, if I am aware that, then Clarimon's in there, I'll just kind of, like, nod, yep, that way.
Thank you. And I'm going to head into the mansion.
Alright. You head into the mansion. The smell of Vendar's cooking is thoroughly muted. As compared to the previous times you've been in the mansion. You recall the transformation to the library that Laramendus had initiated the last time he summoned it. And it smells like it's working quite well. Even quickly you head into the main building. As you know, at the end of that, to get out to the garden, you have to go through the dining room anyway, and that is where I believe you will find the Laramendi.
Yes. I think Laramendus,
Book in
while
the mansion
eating,
work
is
anyway.
writing things. But what was that?
The library, how do the books work?
Most of them are my notes and things that I've collected in my book, and Laramendus would gesture at his book, which I think I don't know.
I think most
I
people
don't
in the
know that
party
Jebble is aware of how it functions. I think he probably is at this point.
Yeah, I think you've shown it to everybody in the party at least once.
So remember, the big discussion about it was when Laramendus was new, because he used it at Rowan.
Yeah.
But I think at this, Jebble is probably aware of how it functions.
Yeah.
I remember a description coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing of like infinite pages.
Yeah.
Infinite pages, translatable to the user's native tongue, and he uses it to store spells, as well as take notes.
Is there something in particular you're looking for in the books?
No, that was just a curiosity I had. I was just
If
wondering.
you do
like,
read anything as you're looking and you are aware of something that is improperly recorded, I would appreciate you informing me.
Okay. But that's not what I. That's not what's on my mind.
You
at the
can see
moment.
there's a very slight Lermendus is a little sad that that's not what things were about. It's hidden pretty well. He wasn't expecting that it was, but there was that little bit of hope that you can just see in the eyes was dashed.
No. I just had an enlightening conversation with a crab about overfishing on the island.
I suppose a crab would have thoughts on that.
There used to be another druid here before the dragon attacked. She worked very hard to maintain balance.
It can't have been an
Considering.
easy task on her part.
No. I mean, this city is not built to sustain itself. I'm gonna have to do something about that as well. But we are taking most of the army with us when we leave, right?
As far as I
taking
know,
all
the
of the army.
whole army is coming with us.
Yeah.
But I would be shocked if in the next 60 years or so, this place doesn't return to some amount of a booming city. As people return when things are safer.
Yeah. So that's an area that's going to have to be. That's an issue that's going to have to be addressed. We may have to. I don't know. Do we have any contacts or anything we can leave with people here so that they have some sort of resources outside the city they can make use of rather than just fishing and fishing and fishing until there are no fish left?
Without knowing who is here and what they need, coming up with that kind of thing might be difficult. We won't be destroying the teleportation circle as part of the guild, which is a means of moving goods, but that is highly regulated.
Well, it's something to think about anyway.
I do not know anyone who I know for certain would return to Stormreef after the fact. I think Lermendus probably didn't know anyone that would have still been alive here. If he did know anyone that had been here and had returned. Before Dragon thing. I don't think he knew anyone that would have been here and possibly died during the Elsementh's attack, so he doesn't really have any contacts that he would imagine would return. Are you planning on coming back here and assisting with the rebuilding?
I'm not really a water person. It's not really my area. I was going to make inquiries elsewhere.
It is very likely that we'll be able to throw a little bit of weight around to get someone in that kind of position here if we try hard enough, given everything else, should we be successful. So,
Well, I do have avenues of inquiry I can make use of.
is there anything else that the crab had thoughts about?
No, that was pretty much it. Just like the sooner we get the army out of here, the better. They are eating a lot of fish. The Ruby does say that we are getting some deliveries in. Tatsuya had that set up.
We can certainly talk to other places and see if we could get more deliveries via the circle. Everwatch might be amenable to providing that if you speak to Vendar. At least a little bit more than they might already be.
I'll check in with him shortly. He hasn't blown himself up again.
The roof is still on the workshop, so I hope he hasn't.
No guarantee.
Like, it's less likely that he blew himself up with the roof still there. It's just not. There's not a 0% chance.
And Jebble just looks up and goes like, does the mansion even need a roof?
No. But seeing people's reactions in the garden have instilled in me a belief that it is probably for the best.
I'm laying down, just staring into the void.
Void stares back into you.
Why can't you just make a fake starry sky?
It would just look so fake. And that's like floor space that could be used for other things. Also, out of character, it's funnier to have the lighting of this place function as if it was like truly like day and like changing over time, and yet there is no sun, but there's a direction of the light is beautiful to me.
Where is the light source? It's out there, out in the void. Why can't I see? You can't.
You don't
Magic.
want to.
I just love the idea that Lermendus tried to make a sky, but he's just a shitty artist. Like, yeah, that's not my area of expertise.
The first time it was just like painted on like stars, not like dots, right? Just like an actual like a 5-year-old drew a star.
Yeah,
and he's like, you know what, Void's
finger
better.
drawing, finger painting. Like the sun had a smiley face.
You invited one person in who you were like studying with when you mastered this, and they made fun of the sky, and you're like, never again. Void forevermore.
Your sky is very blue.
Why
And
are
those
your
clouds are
windows
definitely
so
clouds?
like?
They're perfectly square. They're all broken up into quadrants. And why is only the upper portion of the sky blue? What's this in the middle that hurts my brain?
I love the magnificent mansion that is the Tooth Fairy's house from Hogfather.
If it doesn't need a roof, then the workshop doesn't need a roof, and you get better ventilation. Anywho, Jebble will take his leave.
I think you see Lermendus mutter, like, the workshop might have better ventilation, might be better in there, but will that be worse for everyone else as more of the gas just escapes? He just looks over at it, and he's just like, what's better for me?
You're going to learn the difference between a sterile void and a contaminated void.
No. So, everything that's in there when the mansion disappears gets pushed out into the material realms. Like, is all of that gas going to just be pushed into this room? All of it?
The stink.
This is
You're all
it's
just
I don't
sleeping there
think
suddenly.
so.
I just like the idea we're not sleeping there. Next thing it was just like, like a little explosion.
It's just, I just kind of imagine that every time this mansion, every time he has to recast it, and so the old one ends, so anything taken from this world in is ejected, it's just a fart. Like, the door disappears, and there's just a fart of whatever. It's just a concentrated little cloud of whatever residual gas had been still kind of drifting around in there that was made of external, stuff that was brought in by Vendar.
Yeah, but like Vendar's been at it for so long, there's a lot of that gas.
And there's two of me now.
I like the idea we're all just lying there. Next thing you know, it's just this massive stinky gust of wind blows everyone off their beds.
Everybody suddenly wakes up. Like, oh my god, what's that stench? Vendar doesn't even notice.
My eyes.
Ruby's just kicking the door down. What did I say? What was the one thing I told you not to do?
This is why I've been doing it in the mansion.
Until it's not.
Just
Very
press
much
to
like that.
digitate
That's
the
a problem
room.
for the future.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I am going to find a room in the
Alright,
mansion.
So you're staying in the mansion. Larmendus, you got your food, and then you had a very unexpected discussion with Jebble.
Yeah, I think Larmendus was fairly confused during that conversation, Jebble. Just because he doesn't know what you were really like. Where our responsibility there is.
What's
No,
my
it has
burden
become
of
my
care in this
responsibility.
situation?
And like anyone, I'm trying to figure out delegation and short-term solutions before long-term solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I provide unique insights. I look at problems in a different way.
I mean, they're very important problems.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Jebble's the whole thing about casting simulacrum on what's his name?
Yeah, Pandros.
Tandros. Different way of looking at things. Anywho, Jebble is going into his room, and he is going to contact Syl.
Ooh.
Isn't that-
Alright. You're going to take out your emerald with its little bit of vine wrapped around it, sprouting into the couple leaves on top.
I don't think Jebble's ever met another druid.
I don't think so. Hasn't really. They're not super common. You've heard stories about a few, but yeah, you haven't had a chance to meet one.
He's got like 5,000 years now to do it, right?
Something ridiculous.
Thereabouts.
So you take this out. It's glowing. This pale green, this dim green, in the palm of your hand in the darkened room. Seems doesn't look any different on the outside than it ever has. And you're going to begin whispering your prayers to it in Druidic. And it's going to start pulsing like a heartbeat, just like it used to. Before finally it takes on a green light that is, thrumming more than pulsing. And you're going to hear a small, familiar voice exuberant from it. And she says, "Jebble! Long time no talk! How are you?"
I'm very well, thank you. How are
That's
you?
wonderful to hear. You've been doing such good work.
Oh, that's nice. So, there's an issue that I has come to my attention here. So I'm on, is it Stormreef?
Stormreef.
Yeah. So I'm currently on Stormreef Island, which was protected by a druid by the name of Rain, an elf.
Yes.
But Stormreef was attacked by one of the dragons, and Rain is no longer here. Presumably died at some point in or after the attack.
Terribly sad circumstance.
She was instrumental in maintaining a balance regarding the city and its fishing.
Indeed. She was very good at her job.
Yeah, but she's not here now.
It's true.
The army doesn't have her to help, and I really don't know an awful lot about fishing. Now, we are going to be taking the army with us shortly, so some of that problem is going to be alleviated there, but in future, if this place gets built up again, that is going to that's going to be a problem that just resurfaces.
Well, I can speak with the other spirits, and we can try to wrangle someone who has more experience in that area to come to Stormreef to help to set the balance right again. But it'll
That's
take
what
a
I was
little bit of
hoping for.
time.
Time might be available. There really isn't. I don't think once the army's gone, there's going to be an awful lot of people or anything else left here.
No, but in the time between when we can get someone there, and when you, between now and when you leave, you are the only one qualified to do the job.
That is true.
I wouldn't worry too much about knowing exactly what needs to be done. You're you, and you can find balance. That's what druids do. And Gliss trained you to do that. And I've watched you. So, I think you'll figure it out.
I'll figure something out.
But in the meantime, I will talk to the other spirits, and we'll see if we can find a druid to replace Rain.
Yeah. I'll figure something out.
If you need me for anything, Jebble, I'm right here. Do you have a question?
Oh, I have a question. I have something I'm mulling over. I need to think about before I ask.
Okay. Should I move to someone else, or can I ask you other things while you think about it? Or...
Oh no, that's in character. He says that to himself.
Oh, okay.
I just need to I need to think about this. So I'll talk to you again later. Thank you very much.
Okay. Before I go, one of the spirits of the ocean told me that you might have to work with the fish a little to get a balance out there before working on the balance between the land and the sea. Since there was apparently a big big monster. Was it a leviathan? He says it was a leviathan.
What was it again?
A kraken.
Did you say Kraken?
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing might come back.
Well, it was asleep, and now it's not, and when it woke up it ate a lot. And so, He thinks that probably the ocean dwellers are a little panicked.
So what I'm hearing is it's Kraken for dinner. That should solve the food problem.
Do we know where it is?
In the ocean. One of them.
One.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I mean, there are others that aren't in the ocean.
But there are other oceans.
Yeah, there are other oceans.
Yes.
Want to have a Kraken like the dragons in the
So,
Guardian of the East Ocean.
just to have my world knowledge checked here. We're on a supercontinent, right? And she just said there's other oceans.
Yeah.
So, like, what defines those?
Well, Stormreef is an island on the inner sea. In the middle of the continent. So there's at least one other ocean around the outside of the continent.
I didn't think about that as an ocean, because you call it the inner sea.
Sea, ocean, ocean, sea. Sea is usually just a small section of ocean.
I was just, I guess I'm not trying to, so I'm just curious if that, like, have we now just learned there's, like, other land masses defining different oceans out there?
Everybody already knows about Sol Sarakas and the Shadowlands. Okay, nobody really knows about the Shadowlands.
We don't talk about the Shadowlands.
Yeah. There could be more. I can't say. But nobody's found them. Look, the outer ocean is a really harsh, terrible place. Mostly storms and whirlpools. Or the northern ocean, which is lots of ice that tends to sink boats.
When I was young, I thought whirlpools were going to be a serious thing.
They were in every video game. I always had to avoid them.
They're like on book covers, and they were in illustrations in books, and everything.
Never seen one my whole life.
I think I've seen one in a video.
And it was man-made, I bet.
I've seen a whirlpool.
No, it's just some, like, it's very close to the coast somewhere, like off a pier or something like that, and it's just where where like 2 or 3 currents meet.
Oh?
It's just a natural, like, maelstrom.
I see.
It's not big. It's very small. But, like, if you fell into it, you'd probably drown because, like, it's going to be strong. But, like,
Yeah, a lot of the whirlpools I've seen are like man-made, where water is actually flowing out the bottom, so it's just a big drain, because it's going from one body of water into an underground river or some such. And so
or
there's
like
just
that
whirlpools.
salt mine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so yeah, Syl is saying that one of the ocean spirits that she's in contact with, much like the desert spirit Ta'ul earlier, this one is saying that probably you'll want to strike a balance within the marine population, since they've recently been upset by the rising of the Kraken, as possibly a step one for you. Just as ever, she's just trying to help guide you.
Yeah.
I would not, and I don't think Jebble should take that as a you should go hunt down the Kraken. That was not her meaning.
No. That's obviously, yeah. we're hunting Kraken. Fuck the dragons. This plot is changing gears. We're shifting into another lane.
Yeah, I needed that like
What is
last
a
minute
Kraken but a
pivot.
dragon of the sea.
I think they have things called sea dragons. I don't think krakens are it. Matter of fact, you think krakens eat those?
Greater sea dragons.
Fair enough.
Anywho, yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's just the last
Um,
words you wanted to get in before you cut the connection.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I imagine Jebble will probably plan to take some time to try and deal with that.
Yeah. Considering you've got the... like 13 fucking days. These are ways for the character to fill it that we don't have to roleplay. But hey, if you go do that, by the end of the nearly 2 weeks, you'll be a lot better at dealing with water stuff than you are right now.
Yeah. IRL, Thomas hates water.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Sea is fucking scary.
The sea is terrifying, I'll agree with that. I like pools.
No, I that whole thing of just like not knowing what's underneath you.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. Right there with you.
Is terrifying.
Yeah. Absolutely right there with you. Alright. You cut your connection to Syl, the gem goes back to glowing dimly green. You know, like outside of the darkness of the room, it'd be almost unnoticeable that it's glowing that way. Very natural. You tuck it back away, friend of trees. And you go to sleep?
Get something to eat first.
Yeah, the mansion's chock full of it.
Sure. Something light, and then...
We've got a whole closet, the bacon closet. With uncasked alcohol.
And I mean, is this bacon, this magically created bacon,
Yeah.
vegan?
I don't know that the concept existed, but there's nothing stopping you from making it so if you wish.
It is real bacon. It just
animals
happens to
building the
also be vegan.
It's real vegan bacon.
Oh, Furky.
Yeah, it's different. It's only bacon flavored a turd.
I mean, it didn't technically come from a pig. It just materialized.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You can really cook your bacon if you think about it this way. Like, for it to appear here, it actually takes it from somewhere else and brings it there.
Pig dimension.
That dimension entirely made of bacon and eggs.
I could live there.
Raiken found the plane that he wants to go to next.
Yeah.
Turns out that's just where Cord lives.
You get the positive energy planes, negative energy planes, and the breakfast plane.
The breakfast plane. He's just hanging out there one day, all of a sudden you just hear a as a door opens somewhere, and you just hear, What are you doing here? You're in Cord's closet.
Turns out they have a senior special. The components are 40% off for those over 60.
Alright, so you get your food from the mansion, and I assume the mansion, not going back to reality,
Yeah,
getting it from...
just in the mansion.
Okay. And then Larmendus, you and Leah are the last ones standing, being that you trance. Anything of note before I call long rest?
I think Laramendus is recording things about his conversations with the Tritons and maybe
Scheming.
making notes about things that he thinks might benefit them in their training that he could share with them later on, but he's mostly just nothing of note.
Plotting.
Always.
Definitely scheming.
And Leah, you are a trancing person, so you are able to be up later than others, should you wish it. If so, what would you do? And if not, you can just go trance.
I'm gonna go trance.
Okay. As you settle into trance, you're just going to hear, like, some very, very quiet cursing in the air nearby.
Curse as in making a curse on someone, or curse as in saying a dirty word?
Curse as in somebody angrily just saying words.
Okay.
Valid question, though.
Valid question.
Yeah, I mean, in this world,
Yeah,
Just
curse
hear
is-
somebody whispering, "May all your bacon burn. May all your bacon burn."
May all of your drawers be stuck the first time you try to open them.
And the second.
No, you just hear a small voice nearby. Damn it! What was I thinking? Why did I say that? He's gonna think I'm a moron. It's so embarrassing. I think he saw me though. Fine, no one saw, no one knows. Probably. He's dumb, he'll forget. Big dumb guy, no problem.
He is dumb.
Big dumb guy. A big dummy.
You just hear this voice exuding from the air nearby you, seemingly panicked. But if you've nothing to say about it, then you will trance. Okay then. Call long rest. Everybody benefits from a long rest, and we'll start off next session the morning of the 25th.
You,
Oh, shoot.
when I might possibly be sacrificed to fish god.
Possible. Be great. Alright.
Fast fish guy.
Well, I hope everybody had a good time. Thank you all for being here and participating and making this story with me. We'll see you all the next time we meet on Everybody Loves Raiken. Bye, stream.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.